Oh, I mean, you know, we go, part of my business strategy and plan is expos. We go to these like old school marketplace convention expos, and people are like, why do you do that? And I'm like, these are the places, this is where the mainstream hang. Like I want to target like spiritual people and people are connected to their bodies, but I'd love to reach those mainstream women in their 50s and 60s, 40s, 50s and 60s who didn't get any of this sexual education and maybe still aren't. And so some of my absolute favorite ever testimonials are from women who'll buy a yoni egg from us, and then at one of these expos, whether it's like mind, body, spirit, or, you know, conscious living, and then come back a year later and are like, holy fucking shit, that's the best thing I ever did. And I don't wee when I sneeze anymore. Or like, I'm having better sex with my husband than we ever have in 20 years. And it's usually the ones that the women have just been so suppressed and shut down, and they use it, and then it awakens them. And seeing it in person as well, and having these women crying at the stand. And I'm sure there's so many over the years, Mason, it's hard to even pinpoint a few right now, but just women who've never had an orgasm even, and wear it and then, you know, start having them. It's just like, yeah, this is where it's at. It's not just the pelvic, people think it's all about the pelvic floor, but it's really just, like you said, it's about feeling more. We want to feel more. And yes, that might mean you feel a bit more pain. But if you really want to get from numbness to pleasure, you've kind of got to go through this journey of feeling, which can experience a lot of pain. Sometimes I talk about, like, we talk about self-pleasure practice. What about a self-pain practice? Do you make time to actually, you know, if you are using a wand or a vibrator or a dildo or whatever, even your egg, you're not just going to have rainbows and butterflies come up. Like it's okay to just, sometimes you just got to feel and like let out the tears or the rage or the anger. And this is why I call it a self-led healing practice, because you're in charge, you know, you're in control. And anything can come up and out.
Yeah, I guess that's something you would have, really thinking about that now, like it's, I guess, with being a yoga teacher, the same conversation on a scale that people can approach around pain, and you're like, yes, that's uncomfortable, that's why you do yoga. But when it comes to sexual, whatever word I'm looking for there, you know, when it comes to like, now, like, oh, out, no, sex is, you're meant to give me pleasure. And it's like, people are like, it's like either like binding, you know, it's whether they either go like, that's where I get the displeasure. And it's like, no, these are people who are like gone through the pain, and they're like on the outskirts and realizing that, you know, not that it's about pain, but, you know, that's a place, there's places where pain in the sexual world is something that they seek either excessively or because they know it's a practice for them. But it's like, you know, that's a part of it. Like I can only imagine, because that much tension, that much trauma, I imagine, has that been something you've been surprised about, how much time you've had to embed into the way that you develop your like customer service and your education? Did you maybe think, oh, I didn't think this would be like such a huge part of the offering?
Oh yeah. And this is the thing, the products that we sell, they can bring up so much shit to the surface. And so that's why I'm so passionate about not just selling. I'm not like, here, buy my shit. It's like, yeah, buy this product and then here's some support. I've got a Facebook group with like 25,000 women in it. I've got the Golden Yoni membership for $40 a month with 14 modules of content that you can just chip away at in your own time. You know, there's just so much support, free content all through the website, blogs, videos, because awakening, you can sometimes awaken the beast. And a lot of stuff that, you know, you've maybe been spending a lot of time pushing down and suppressing, particularly if you're using a stone like obsidian or something like that, like it can really awaken. Even Yoni Dearmouring, like all the practices that I talk about, it can really bring up a lot of stuff to the surface. But, you know, it's knowing that we can hold ourselves. And if we have the skills that I wish we were all taught in school, but, you know, you're typically taught in like Tantra, it's like the breath, sound and movement and touch to just move those feelings of discomfort out. And one of the best, like I remember one of my Tantra teachers, I was feeling this really ugly emotion and I didn't like to feel it. I didn't want to feel it. And he was like, what if you just right now accepted the feeling and actually felt it fully? And I did it. And I did it in that moment. Must have been around 26. And like everything, if you really go into the feeling and let yourself feel that ugly, yucky, sticky, uncomfortable emotion, it's amazing how it shifts. That's where we spend so much time in our life trying to avoid those feelings, which, you know, they come up in sex. Some of the best sex I've ever had has been bursting into tears after the orgasm, or like allowing myself to rage if I need to. At the moment, something my partner's experiencing is ecstatic laughter after orgasm, which makes no sense. They're like, why is this happening? Well, like, this is just, you're in your heart and it's moving that through. It's beautiful. Like anything can come through. And it's just about not having any judgment for that.